Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, Chapter 20, Text number 18. Sasarja Chayaya Vidyam Panchapurvanamagratah Tamishram Mandatamishram Tamo Moha Mahatamaha. Translation purport by Srila Prabhupada. First of all, Brahma created from his shadow the coverings of ignorance of conditioned souls. They are 5 in number and are called Tamishra, Andatamisra, Tamas, Moha and Mahamoha. Purport. The conditioned souls are the living entities who come to the material world to enjoy sense gratification are covered in the beginning by 5 different conditions. The first condition is a covering of Tamisra or anger. Constitutionally, each and every living entity has minute independence. It is misuse of that minute independence for conditioned soul to think that he can also enjoy like the Supreme Lord, or to think, why shall I not be a free enjoyer like the Supreme Lord? This forgetfulness of his constitutional position is due to anger or envy. The living entity, being eternally a part and parcel, servitor of the Supreme Lord, can never by constitution be an equal enjoyer with the Lord. When he forgets this, however, and tries to be one with him, his condition is called Tamisra. Even in the field of spiritual realization, this Tamisra mentality of the living entity is hard to overcome. In trying to get out of the entanglement of material life, there are many who want to be one with the Supreme. Even in the transcendental activities, this lower grade mentality of Tamisra continues. Andatamisra involves considering death to be the ultimate end. The atheists generally think that the body is the self and everything is therefore ended with the end of the body. Thus they want to enjoy material life as far as possible during the existence of the body. The theory is, as long as you live, you should live prosperously, never mind whether you commit all kinds of sins, so-called sins. You must eat sumptuously, beg, borrow and steal, and if you think that by stealing and borrowing you are being entangled in sinful activities for which you will have to pay, then just forget that misconception, because after that everything is finished. No one is responsible for anything he does during his life. This atheistic conception of life is killing human civilization, for it is without knowledge of the continuation of the eternal life. This Andatamisra ignorance is due to tamas, the condition of not knowing anything about the spirit soul is called tamas. This material world is also generally called tamas because 99% of its living entities are ignorant of their identity as soul. Although everyone is thinking that he is this body, almost everyone is thinking that he is this body. He has no information of the spirit soul. Guided by this misconception, one always thinks, this is my body and anything in relationship with this body is mine. For such misguided living entities, sex life is a background of material existence. Actually, the conditioned souls in ignorance in this material world are simply guided by sex life. And as soon as they get the opportunity for sex life, they become attached to so-called home, motherland, children, wealth and opulence. As these attachments increase, moha, illusion on the bodily concept of life, also increases. This idea that I am this body, everything belongs to this body, is mine, also increases. And as the whole world is put into moha, sectarian societies, families, nationalities are created, and they fight with one another. Mahamoha means to be mad after material enjoyment. Especially in this age of Kali, everyone is overwhelmed by the madness to accumulate paraphernalia for material enjoyment. These definitions are very nicely given in Vishnu Purana, wherein it is said, Tamo aviveko mohasyad antakarana vibramaha mahamohostu vijneyo gramya bhoga sukeshanaha maranam hi tamisram krodha uchyate avidya pancha parvaisha pradhur bhuta mahatmanaha. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. So how Brahma began his creation after he was created by the Lord. It said here that from his shadow, the coverings of ignorance of the conditioned souls, he created. The souls are already there, injected into the existence, into the Brahmanda, which is the stem of the lotus that came out of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and Brahma seated on the top as the first living entity. Now he began his creation. It is said that he created the coverings, 5 coverings, and starting with Tamisra, which Prabhupada translates as anger. Then later he says anger or envy. And very clearly Prabhupada says that the living entity by constitution is a part and parcel and can never be an enjoyer like the Lord. And that is where the problem comes. From spiritual world itself our problem started with one particular mistake. That is comparison. This comparison disease. See, you want to compare yourself with God. You want to compare your freedom like God's freedom to enjoy. Though it sounds like a very small mistake or small habit. Oh, I compare with other devotees, I compare with, everything comparison. But our original problem, original disease, the original sin was comparison. Why can't I freely enjoy like the Lord? Why can't I have the freedom like the Lord? So the only way the desires of those living entities can be satisfied is to give them freedom. Okay, you try. You're asking or you're desiring to be free like me in acting, in enjoying. All right. That is where this entire creation comes into place. This is basically for the living entities who want to continue their journey After the living entities have gone into Mahavishnu's body, the fresh creation comes, and few verses we saw how the living entities, all their karma comes back, and then the journey begins again. An opportunity is given to the living entities to go, try. In this way, eternally the living entities, Nitya Baddha, are eternally continuing in this material world. So that is the reason why this material world, 99% of the people are not wanting to be devotees of the Lord. Even if they want to be devotees of the Lord, they are all Kama Bhaktas. They are devotees, they want God to support their material life. Their God consciousness is to support their life, which they are thinking is a material life. Whereas only few jivas are interested in, because this is the world, this is a prison house. In the prison house, there may be a small percentage who are trying to, about to get released from the prison. 90% of the people are in the prison. They are prisoners. In that, few will want to come out of the prison house. Having got rectified, purified, they come out of the prison house. So who are those living entities who come out of this prison house? Those who understand, first of all, that they are part and parcel of the Lord. They are tiny. As Prabhupada says, you can never be equal constitutionally. We are tiny. The forgetting of tiny nature is what gives us the comparison. Even in the material world also, same thing. If one does not recognize that I do not have anything, everything is given to me by nature, by God, by karma, it is not mine, and it will be taken away. So if nothing is mine, it will be taken away, then what are you? You don't possess anything. So when one understands that I don't possess anything, they become ready to get out of this prison house. Whereas those who want to increase their possessiveness, what is possessiveness? I and mine. Actually, the I has no bearing at all in this material world. There's nothing where actually our I is worth going and sticking in. Because this body is temporary. And once we stick I to this body, then we think mine, this is mine, that is mine, this is my body. The illusion propagates. The living entity becomes, the different degrees of illusion is what is being discussed. This tamisra, andatamisra, tamas, moha, mahamoha. By time of mahamoha, the illusion is complete. What are the things? You think that body is everything. First you have this attitude of independence, that is tamisra. Then andatamisra is considering death to be ultimate end. There another solid misconception. There is nothing but this body. The body ends, I end. Andatamisra. Then tamas is, there is nothing like soul. Prabhupada explains here, tamas means there is nothing like soul. That is tamas. Then moha. So now illusion begins. What is this illusion? When you have these first three things, then the illusion is I and mine. Aham mamait. Then once I and mine is reinforced with this body, then Mahamoha is home, children, wealth, all on the foundation of sex life. So that is how the whole illusion becomes complete. That is why it said, Graham Andakupam, in the material world. This illusion is all, everything is illusion. All these illusions are centered around independent enjoyment of male and female, creating families, independent families. There is only one family actually of Krishna. The Supreme Lord is the Supreme Father, and all living entities we are all His part and parcel. So with this Mahamoha, the living entities in the material world are suffering. Why? Because none of their desires get satisfied to be happy. What is the happiness that they are seeking in the family? Sense gratification, relationship, love, affection. Everything breaks at the time of death. Before that also it starts breaking. And whatever they are seeking, that happiness is always disturbed by different kinds of dukkha. Why? Because it's not purposefully made by the Lord, sukha and dukkha. The Lord's created this material world on the principle of karma, and therefore by your own, you have earned your dukkha and earned your sukha. So living entities, after a long journey, get bewildered by this, their effort for independent pleasure, independent pleasure. Finally they decide that I cannot get my freedom here in this material world. Then he understands that I should become free. My mind should become free from all these things, and I should become detached. That is when they become detached like that, the Mayavadis, then they think that next, after having become detached from all this variegatedness, this is not me, this body is not me, this world is not me, these are all illusion, it's all illusion, only I exist. I, which is not the body, exists. This idea of God also does not exist. So in one sense, indirectly, they say, I don't want any varieties. Varieties means problems. Varieties means dukkha. So that is their understanding of mukti. Now that is another very big hurdle that one has to cross, that jiva has to cross. Because jiva has got this capacity within him. The Lord has given, if he does proper tapasya, the proper meditation, jnana, pursue the path, because these are all, if you have to pursue the path of jnana, you automatically have to have controlled your lower selves. Your sense gratification and all. To large degree, tapasya has to happen. But the result of all that tapasya, again can be misdirected towards wanting to become one with God. And that is what Prabhupada is also warning here. That this atheistic, ultimately it is an atheistic understanding. Because there is no God. They don't want to accept God. Because God means person. Person means defective. How can God be a person? Now when it comes to Krishna consciousness, that is when Vaishnava Sampradayas, they say, yes, there is a perfect person. There are perfect personalities. There are personalities who give out perfect love, perfect compassion, perfect love, perfect justice. And that is Vishnu Tattva. Their supreme being. He is a supreme being and we are all tiny beings. So it's a very big, to understand that I am a part and parcel, I am tiny. Not now. Now in the material world, when I think I am the body, I am beaten up by the material energy, by stringent laws of material energy. you may come and realize, you may realize yourself that I have no power, I have no money, I have no this, I have no influence, nobody cares for me, I am nothing. That time, that kind of material realization, materially I am nothing, everybody goes through up and down, bhoga tyaga, bhoga tyaga. But for the soul to feel that I am part and parcel of Krishna's enjoyment, that is the difficult part. Unless that comes, one does not start becoming a devotee. That means I am eternally small, I am eternally servant of Krishna. My perfection in life is in devotional service to be performed to the Lord. I have no doubt that who is God. I have no doubt that God is a person. I have no doubt. God is a supreme person. I have no doubt. Not little doubt that God is simply some feelingless Shakti. God is a person. Now, when you accept God is a person, I am his part and parcel. I am his servant. It's a very, 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 very big step. That happens, that is what. Those are the few prisoners. We are all the few prisoners who want to come out of this material world. One of the major tests we have crossed by actually surrendering to Krishna, actually understanding that my biggest problem is pride. My biggest problem is comparison. Now I should cure this disease of comparison. I should be satisfied with what God has given me. I should not compare. I should not fight by comparing. I should not fight for rights comparing with others. These are all the training that is required before you go into the spiritual world. Why he has got, why I have not got. This kind of situation, this is a very small example in a day-to-day life. But the root is somewhere else. So if one surrenders to Krishna, then Krishna will take care of everything. One is satisfied with what comes of its own accord. One does not compare, one does not fight. One understands the Lord's law of nature, law of karma, which, giving opulence and giving enjoyment to karmis, to devatas, in the spiritual, material world, in the higher planetary systems of this material world, so many different kinds of enjoyments. It's all given by God. He is directly giving all these things. Daiva netrena, by divine arrangement. Different living entities are getting different bodies and they are getting enjoyment and suffering. So devotee completely understands this. He is peaceful. And his most important thing is in his mission in life, how to rectify my attitude. Attitude is everything. How to rectify my attitude towards life. How to rectify my attitude towards other devotees. How to rectify my attitude towards action, fruitive action and devotion service. What is the difference? Both are activity. The attitude is different. One is the attitude for enjoying for oneself. The other is the attitude for this Krishna's enjoyment. So, the whole Krishna consciousness training that Prabhupada has created in this movement is meant to purify and rectify our consciousness to become simple people and not to lord over, to give up lording tendency, give up lording over other living entities, fighting with other living entities, criticizing other living entities. Why all these things? That is a training that happens in Krishna consciousness among the Vaishnavas. So advancement in Krishna consciousness, if somebody thinks, okay, I will chant Hare Krishna and then I will read Prabhupada's books, and even yesterday I was discussing that. Vaishnava association is the platform where this particular thing is trained. That is why somebody thinks, why all these things? This is an unnecessary, it's a headache. Living in ashram is a headache. This restriction, that restriction, you should not talk that, you should not talk that, why you talk like this, why you... There is no other work. Simply, we should all simply read and chant Hare Krishna and then attend sadhana and that's all. Oh, correct. If you do only that's all, there would not be any problem at all. The problem is you won't stop at that's all. If you only stop at that's all means you would be great devotee. We will do all that and then we will want to pick on start. Other living entities, give problem to him, criticize him, find fault, gossip, tell something about him to this. It's all waste of life. One should learn how to take care of his own anarthas, focus on that, chant Hare Krishna, do his service, associate with Vaishnavas for all the good things that they have to give. Anywhere you can pick up anything good from devotees, just pick it up. Not that association means, you take everything. You have to be discriminative in association also. Because we have to understand, we are all patients in this hospital. And different degrees we are cured. Some people who are cured little more are made into nurses. Some nurses who are much more cured, they become doctors. Like that, different degrees of, but everybody, even a nurse can a nurse get fever? Can get infection? Can get. Can a doctor, can he get infection? He can also get infection. He may be your doctor, but if he got TB, then he himself will tell, as per medical science, keep me in isolation. Now I am not doctor, now I am a TB patient, I cannot treat you. Is it not? So, everything that Prabhupada has told is actually spiritual practice. In the ashram also, every rule, regulation that we have, it is meant for culturing our consciousness of dependence upon the Lord, giving up that independence. So anybody who constantly is fighting against this, instead of learning how to develop this Vaishnava Achar, when Vaishnava Achar is being taught, when something is being corrected, this is not the correct attitude of a Vaishnava, when it is being corrected, it is a spiritual thing. It is not simply for the sake of good of the ashram, for the good of the devotee. How I can become pure? How I should not have this kind of criticizing mood. I should not have this attitude of gossiping. I should not have this desire to go on hearing what happened here, what happened here, what happened here, unnecessary waste of life. When I have got very clear goals from Prabhupada, so much work is there to do, so much self-development is there to do. So as I said, ultimately, spiritual advancement means, it is not so much knowledge about Shastra and all these kind of things. You can quote 1,000 slokas, you can by heart the whole Bhagavatam, whole Bhagavad Gita. Does he become a pure devotee? Sloka, beginning to end, Bhagavatam you will know. Every sloka. Bhagavad Gita, beginning to end you will know. Does he become a pure devotee? Why? What makes a pure devotee is his attitude. Humility. What is that particular attitude? Humility. I should develop. Sometimes in arguments, in discussions, one may lose also. And one may think I am unfair, it was very unfair to me. But one should simply think that this is an opportunity for me to become humble also. Maybe not this incident I have seen for which Lord is punishing me like this. Maybe something else. I am using my logic. Here I did not do anything wrong. No, but laws do not work like that. Neither laws of karma nor laws of Krishna karma within the Vaishnavas. They don't work without, they have a reason. It happens, especially all the more within the community of devotees. Krishna is very particular that Vaishnavas are not offended. Vaishnavas are not harassed. Sometimes devotees who have lauding tendency, because their lauding tendency is not freely being allowed, they will think, oh, we are being harassed. What is this harassment by management? So, he wants lauding tendency to be let loose. When we control that, you say it's harassment. And then he applies the philosophy, he reads somewhere, if you harass the devotee, it is Vaishnava Aparad. Then he starts thinking that, oh, the management is doing Vaishnava Aparad. Where is the end to this? Huh? All kinds of perverted logic, and then such a devotee, in the name of thinking that everybody is making Vaishnava Aparad to him, he will start making Vaishnava Aparad. And he will end his spiritual life. Any questions? Here.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, sometimes devotees may think, now that I become, older or senior devotee, I don't need somebody to come and, keep telling me what I should do, what I should not do. I will take my decisions, and I don't have to come under the scrutiny of this management and all these things. So how do we understand?
See, this is all spiritual disease continuing. All this is spiritual disease continuing. The attitude is important. If let's say somebody is doing some service, he is expert in it. Because of that, he may not come and discuss every time. Those are all management issues. But to make a philosophy out of it, that now I don't need anybody, very dangerous. Very dangerous. In fact, the more and more serious service the devotee takes up, he always thinks that he needs to consult Vaishnavas. Because he wants to ensure that the right thing, Krishna's desire, is acting upon. He is fearful of Maya attacking in different ways, diverting us from Krishna consciousness, all these things. Maya not in the sense of normal Maya, even in the, small deviations can become Maya. Slowly, Maya, when Maya cannot hit you in a big way, here put on somebody in front of you, you so grossly, you will run away. No, this is Maya. And subtle, slowly, one small deviation will make, then one small deviation, then one small deviation, like this. So Vaishnavas are very careful. The more you advance in Krishna consciousness, not that you become more independent. The more you advance in Krishna consciousness, you develop your original sense of dependence on Vaishnavas and Krishna. And the first such Vaishnava is Guru. The first such Vaishnava is the Guru. The sense of independence, it's completely, it's gone back, it's nothing. Then they are not understood what it is. They want to be peaceful. Don't disturb me anything. Why should I ask anybody? They want materially peaceful life in ISKCON. Now I am older devotee, leave me alone. Leave me alone for what? To sit and speculate. Leave me alone. We should synergize together. We should serve together. We should serve together in our consciousness. That training is very important. If one does not get trained like that, He ultimately, if he thinks after 5, 10 years, now I am independent, then you wait what happens to that devotee after 20, 25 years. After somehow if the materially everything is fine, he will remain. But if all his material things are not, is disturbed a bit, you will see that he has no taste for devotion service. Why have we come into Krishna consciousness movement? To give up everything, to surrender to the Lord. To simply, as I explained yesterday, it's all for devoting ourselves we have come. Nothing should be independent of the Lord and Lord's, Guru and Krishna's arrangement. That consciousness is what is very important. When somebody has that consciousness, even after 30, 40 years in the midst of Vaishnavas, you can make out that. How? That devotee respects each Vaishnava. He can feel that respect. He gives out that respect to everybody. Not that he is thinking everybody should respect me. I am senior, everybody should respect me. In order to teach the new people who do not have that kind of a respect, when they don't respect, we have to pull them up, we have to tell them, your life is to learn how to respect other devotees. How to respect why devotees, even karmis, why you should respect, for what is due to them. So real advancement in spiritual life is developing humility, respecting others. This is spiritual advancement. Not any amount of jnana you give, there is no use. Krishna loves that. Humility and giving respect to other Vaishnava. Guru and Krishna likes that. More than you chanting full Bhagavad Gita, beginning to end. You have to understand this. The chanting Bhagavad Gita is meant to, the knowledge in Bhagavad Gita is meant to make you humble. Understand who you are. It's meant for that. Not meant for showing off your scholarship. It is meant to make one humble, make one how to respect every living entity, how to recognize Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For a neophyte, he thinks I understood Bhagavad Gita. Neophyte devotee. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I understood. No. More is there. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We are all his part and, not only I am a part and parcel, everybody is his part and parcel. Krishna has his will. Krishna has his purpose in this material world creation. All these things you have to understand. Then you are understanding Bhagavad Gita. Grandaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.